And how you doing, everybody? This is Street News Now, SNN, Five Guys and You. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and type in SNN, that's Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. You catch us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. And you catch us during that time. Also catch us on Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. So here's the roster lineup. So our Phillies leader, Lee Michaels, is still trying to find the meaning of life, wherever the hell that is. And Chocolate Yaddah of Chocolate, is out as well. So you see me, me, of course, Chris Bass, and this guy, that guy right over there. That is Dr. Ron Ford. Dr. Ron, how you doing, brother?
What's up? How y'all doing tonight?
Man, how you feeling, sir?
Man, I'm still glad to be alive, brother. Still glad to be alive. You know.
Now, Professor Reggie Miles should join us. He was in the pregame with us and got disconnected, so he should be joining us momentarily. So, let's not waste any time. Of course, everybody's waiting for what we got to talk about. So, Dr. Ron, hey, man, you can start right now if you want to. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I've been having some thought processes about some of the violence that's been going on across the country. And one of the things that came up in my thought process was, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And we always put the emphasis on guns. If we had less guns or we had more guns. But it's the mentality of a person with a gun that's the problem. And we've discussed this before. We've talked about it over and over again. But I think we need to keep talking about it over and over again because it's not something that's easily resolved. And what I mean by that is this. Gun lobbyists campaign, we don't need any more rules and regulations. We got enough. I think we need to, protect the amendment where we have the ability to freely carry arms in this country. But if you're not dealing with people's mentality about having a gun, then we're going to continue to have the outrageous numbers of killing with guns. Now, just a point of statistic, on most guns, it only takes 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. One more time. 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. But if your thought process has been distorted or your thought process has been warped, it becomes very easy to pull that 5 pounds on that trigger in order to cause someone to be harmed or even loss of life. One of the biggest problems that we have in the United States is that people don't have a value of life. There's no value on it. Like, I value my brothers. I value my sisters. I value human beings, period. I'm not going to go out and pick up a gun and just start shooting people because I don't look at them as cattle or a deer or an animal that I'm going to put on my dinner table. I don't look at animals or human beings as that. And I tell you, it is terrible what people think about the value of life. And the value of life is, man, it means nothing. It means nothing, so you can take a life and not have any remorse. That's very cavemanish. That's very, um, you know, I mean, I can't even describe what category to put that in, but I hope the conversation that we bring up over and over and over again, because I'm going to bring this up again, will spark some awareness and some understanding that we need to address and deal with the mentality and the mindset of people that are walking around with guns, hoping that they can get into a shootout, hoping that they can have the ability to end someone's life. And, it's something that we need to change our mindset and have a value of life. We need to place a value on life. And I'm not talking about a bounty. Like sometimes we hear about in police departments and in the community where there's a reward for information about who pulled the trigger on this person or that person. I'm not talking about value like that. I'm talking about appreciate the fact that I deserve the right to live. You deserve the right to live, and you need to respect that right to live. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to open it up to my brother. On Thursday, June the 16th of 2011, a young man by the name of Damar Ashton Ford, at the age of 26, was shot in the head while riding in his mother's car by a stray bullet that killed him instantly. That young man was my son. So I have a very, very passionate feeling about violence, gun violence, and death. So, with that being said, I want you all to think about that. Let that resonate, because there's so many parents out here that are still dealing with the loss of their child. So, I pray that you don't never have to experience that for yourself, because trust me, it's not a very good experience.
And when you had talked about your son, because people may not know Dr. Ron and I have known each other for a while, and I remember Ron reached out to me about chronicalizing, your life story via video, and I was taking notes, asking questions, because he said through that he can jog some memories from the past, and you did share about that about your son, which is still beyond unfortunate. I think, like most parents, Ron, as you know this firsthand, in our minds, we should precede our children in death, depending on how your mindset is. If you're spiritually based, death comes when it comes. We have no control over it. But in a quote unquote perfect world, if we had control, we would want to go before our children. And to have that on somebody's soul, the fact that your child, no matter how old they were, is not here anymore. And and again, that just it's you can't even put a description of words to it. And when you mentioned about the 5 pounds of pressure, remind me from a line from the Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington, when he's trying to convert the young brother who's want to be gangster, and he takes his gun here in the hallway, and he puts the gun to Denzel's forehead. And he say, "Hey, all you need is 5 pounds of pressure," and it's just that simple, just that easy. When that happens, so continuing the cycle of what we see of violence, it's not the easiest thing to go up against evil, because that's exactly what it is. He said earlier in the conversation, Dr. Ron, about not valuing human life. But when you just don't give two damns and it's pure evil running amok, how do we fight evil?
Well, I think what we have to do is what we're doing. We have to talk about it. We can't just, let these situations not go untalked about. It's been 10 years since I lost my son. And I remember during that time working my way through the pain. We were working at another radio station. And for months after that, I did conversations. and the conversations, I would bring in people that were on the front line in the streets, talking about the violence that was going on. And that year, that summer, was the year that we had more deaths in Chicago than they had in Iraq, which they came up with the term Chirac. And the people that I talked to and the people that were involved with dealing with those homicides in many different levels, we came up with, many different, topics out of that. And one was that, it's not just one answer, not just one solution, not just one, okay, this will solve all the problems, that's going to stop all the killing. We got multiple problems going on in community. And one of the things that, I was able to come up with for myself was to be able to grab hold of as many young people as I can and hold on to them and try and give them a safe place to try and go and be, that can help them not be on the streets where they can be in harm's way. Now, this year in Chicago, it has been extremely crazy, with young babies getting killed. Now these are young people that haven't even had a chance to reach teenage years. I'm talking about babies, 3, 4, 5 years old, and stray bullets. Once that 5 pounds of pressure has been applied to that weapon, now that bullet is gone and hit a target. And some of those targets have been babies, young babies, okay, in cars, in places where they were not doing anything wrong or doing anything harmful. So we've got to stop the mentality that it ain't our problem. It's everybody's problem. We all got to look and address whoever's in our life. I got grandbabies now. I've got young people that I come in contact with that I try to mentor on a daily basis. And I promise you, I'm trying to give them something to live for. Not something that, hey, I can take a bullet and be a hero. No. And then you think about it. The person that's pulling the trigger, what quality of life are they going to have? Now they're going to jail for 20 years, 25 years. They going to jail, and their quality of life for the rest of their life is going to be, as they used to say when we was coming up, 3 hots in a cot. Mm-hmm. Okay, that ain't no way to live. So I'm having this conversation because it's too many people out here not being responsible or respectful of life. And we got to talk about it. That's the only thing we can do is talk about it.
No, you're right. And the thing about it also is that the people who apply the 5 pounds of pressure, you mentioned before about the 3 hots in the cot, they don't even value their own lives. Because if they did, they wouldn't make the crime in the first place. Or they feel that, hey, I'm not here. I don't give a damn about myself, let alone somebody else. And the fact that I don't think they even think about the repercussions at that time. I think because they've been in a mindset and in an environment that you take care of things through violence, that you take care of things to solve a problem with a gun or guns and anything in that perspective. And that gets in a very bad translation, but it's an ongoing problem because, once again, we're not born this way. We have a condition where we are in an environment, and that's all you see and hear. That's all you react to. And it's an ongoing problem that, again, starts with conversation. It was no more than, again, stepping outside your own neighborhood and talking to younger people. We're just having a conversation, period. And hopefully that can help galvanize a change in the rhetoric. But again, you talking about fighting an uphill battle. Nothing beats a failure but a try, and we gotta try something.
Yeah. And interesting, let me throw this out there. You know, um, a lot of times people blame the guns and the use of guns, for the cause of the violence. But I know for a fact in other countries, they don't have as many guns on the street as we do here.
Hmm.
I've traveled to other countries. I used to say about the Bahamas or the Jamaica, the islands, they have a lot of death, but they don't have a lot of guns, per capita. So the method of death over there might be a machete, or, whatever. But death still stems from the fact that they don't have value of that person that they are taking out. They rob tourists in the Bahamas like it ain't nothing. Tourists come over there and because they think they got money, they can come over there and disrespect the people that live there. And man, believe it or not, they become fish food. Okay. They don't look, they be like, no, man, you're not gonna, and it's about respect to them.
Hmm.
But and the next thing you know, that person ain't there no more. He's just gonna be in the ocean. So
Right.
it's I don't want to emphasize on the fact that our guns, because we do have a lot of guns on the street, but we also, no matter what country you live in, we don't have um respect of life. We don't have the ability to want to make sure that even though that person that you may have a disagreement with right now still deserves the right to live, and not be executed by your hand, you know. So I see we got a lot of comments coming up here. You want to read some of them?
Let's see. Well, let's go back to Watika. Watika, I remember it's on her Facebook timeline. She said, I recently lost my 14-year-old grandson. He just graduated from 8th grade. We need a solution to this gun violence.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. So going back to Francisco, of course, he's not here with us, but he is with us in the comment section. I can't imagine the horror of losing a child. You share this with me privately, and my heart goes out to you, Ron. And then, hold on, then we got this big ass paragraph here that he typed up here. To your point, Ron, there's only one solution to the issue of gun violence. In my opinion, this is Francisco, only governments who care about their children have ever solved
Citizens.
this problem.
Sure about their
Uh,
citizens.
Citizens, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, make sure I get some new eyeglasses. Governments are to provide for the infrastructure and protection of their citizens, including protecting citizens from other citizens. In a country where death from gun violence is prevalent, is see as a result governments choosing commerce over human life. Absolutely, and it
Yeah, I
makes a
agree
valid
with that.
point.
Yep.
Hey, Jed, how you doing, Jed? Thank you for being here, sir. Instilling value in life can be tricky, as the individual has to find their solution, but not if it causes you hard trying to help. Learning from each other is why I'm a fan here. Well, Jed, first of all, thank you for that. And, once again,
Amen.
Dr. Ron sharing that story about his son from personal experiences, it does open up old wounds. You do feel it all over again. And I can only imagine what it's like for you. I mean, I don't know how you could watch the news when you hear somebody getting shot and just going back to your son.
Yeah, and and it's even closer than that. My co-host experience this week, her son, being lost, a loss of her son, and other people just this whole week, man. I just been getting reports of gunshots and killing people,
Hmm.
just within a stone's throw of my life,
Yeah.
so like people that are just that close to me, and I understand the pain, because when you lose anybody, it doesn't necessarily have to be a child. When you lose anybody, period, to gun violence, you think about, man, this did not have to happen, you know, and of course, I looked at the news today, and I was looking at in a suburb here in Chicago area, Dalton. They finally released the um, police cam footage of a young teenage girl or young lady that the police shot, that they said they had to shoot because they were trying to run off. She was trying to run them over with a car. And, the mother and the father was like, hey, she didn't have to die like that. Whatever was going on, which caused that car to move, they reacted, you know, with deadly force. And they're trying to get to the bottom of this now. The mother was saying, like, nobody even expressed an apology towards her, about this incident. And then eventually the mayor responded today by saying, um, you know, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Tamika from my show. Yes, sir,
Right.
Jed. Yep. She lost her son. That's why she wasn't able to be there on Tuesday. And I'm sure your prayers, please keep her, because this is brand new. It just happened for her on Tuesday, the day of the show. That's why she wasn't there. So,
Mm.
I'm soliciting everybody's prayers on her behalf and her family's behalf, because it's very brand new, So yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's funny. Before we heard this unfortunate news, I once again, I know Ron, and we know each other for a while, and so he's going through a lot of co-hosts over time. So he would check with me, "Hey man, what do you think of the new co-host?" And I have to say honestly, there's nothing against the ones prior to. I think Tamika is an excellent choice for what Dr. Ron does. I think they match up equally. They can both get silly, which is a good thing. They got in their character and personality. And so when I first saw your interacting with her, I said, okay, yeah, I can see where she's gonna stick around for a little bit. And now to get this, because I just now obviously met her through or seen her through social media on your program, and now to hear this horrific news, it's beyond hurt. Some words you just can't put into a description of what you're going through in a situation like that. So again, once again, my prayers, your thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. And that's just I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Chocolate Yoda, what was he typing? Can we get a comment from Reggie's chair? Well,
Yeah,
okay. If
yeah,
I don't think the chair speaks, but if it spoke, I would get me the hell up out of here.
yeah, he
That's a
was.
possessed
Look, he
chair.
was there. I thought he was paying attention, but he had to get up. He's at work.
He's at
But
Chicago State University, right?
yeah, and responding to what Chris said, I did an interview with my new co-host a couple of weeks ago, well, about a week or so ago, and she was talking about weed and sex, and boy, I tell you, Chris was like, "Yep, yep, that's the one. Yep, yep."
I didn't want to talk about that part, but you did. But okay, yeah, that did it. Yeah, that sealed the deal.
um,
Let's see,
yeah,
Dev have to what was it? Dev had that silly vibe was feeling it. The stuff sticks with me. Lots some what was it? Lost some aunts too early. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's loss is loss, and everything that we go through when we do lose someone, we have to find a way to keep moving forward. It's never easy. Nobody says it's gonna be easy. But again, if you're spiritually bound or you need people to talk to or all the above, we find a way to keep moving forward. On another subject, can you get closer to the camera, Ron? I can still see a little of your background.
I'm gonna say, Chocolate Yoda, chime in, bro. We can understand your whispering voice.
No, he got the sore throat. He's typing like a hell of a like a hell, but he's typing his ass off.
I know that's right.
Yeah, Doc.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, to go full circle, I would like to say, to many people, try your very best to reach out to the ones that are closest to you and express to them that life has a value and life is worth living. And having a good quality of life is just as important as having life itself. So not just you want to be alive and locked in a cage
Hmm.
because you pull that 5 pounds of pressure
Yeah.
and ended someone's life because you were having an emotional outbreak at the moment. When we were young, we used to settle our problems and issues. If you were upset with somebody, you used to throw hands, which was called fighting in most cases.
Yeah.
And when we threw hands, then we go get a drink afterwards and heal our wounds. So nowadays, you know they don't fight up close. They fight from a distance, and that's a problem. So have some value, put some value, on your own life as well as somebody else's life. And then that will probably make you think. If you can think, then we might be able to um you know deter deter deter. We ain't got Francisco to correct my words, but deter
Deter.
deter that one. Yeah. Deter someone, from ruining their life and someone else's.
Absolutely. The professor, you have any comments? Because again, while you were out, Francisco typed this about your chair, and it want to get a. Listen, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. It was the one here about your chair here. Here we go. Yeah, about the. Here's the thing, real quick. There's a chair. Reggie, your chair says something interesting things while you were gone. It's replacing you as a co-host. Now, see, most people who are sick need to lie down or claim they have a sore throat, and this dude still's trying to swing comment wise. I don't particularly understand it. I don't get it. Professor, you have any comment about the chair?
You got to turn your mic on.
Well, okay, let me pick it up from last week.
Yeah, that's about it.
So I'm done. I'm done. Man, I miss him here. It's all good. It's all good. Did you guys get the stuff I sent y'all?
Yeah. About
Yes.
Glen Ford.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very interesting. Like you said, somebody deeper and crazier than you. That brother was, man. I listened to some of his stuff on
Wait,
YouTube.
I'm sorry. The missing brother is still typing here. So he says here, typing and speaking are different, Chris. I'll explain it all to you next week. You know what? This is what I love about this brother. This is what I love about him. You can't keep a good asshole down. You can't. Again,
Shameless self.
shameless asshole. I mean,
Shameless.
you would think again with a sore throat, you could be. No, I'm sorry. I digress, Francis. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, please continue. I just had to acknowledge that. That's all.
That's all right. But
Yeah, I'm sorry. Please continue.
But I got another thing where I came in contact with him when I was looking at this documentary called Disappearing Voices. The story of the decline of Black radio, and he spoke in that. And I've always liked that dude, cause he didn't care whether you were left, right? He didn't care about the Dems or the reps. He was calling them both cons. And he wasn't saying it lightly. He had research to back up what he was saying. And I mean, I like the way he broke down, went to the lowest common denominator as to why certain things were being pushed. And this notion that the rep coms were funding dem coms to I'm saying, whoa. And so this came down to the fact that it was a battle, but it's a battle between the elites. It's a class battle. It's a class battle. And so that's why certain things like, hailing certain, people that have the media that has presented and put up in front of us. I'm always skeptical about that, because I'm trying to figure out who is the person, place, or thing that's funding this push. So I thought Glen Ford was rather interesting. And so I want to ask you, brothers, he being one of the first Black journalists to do a lot of things, did any of you guys hear about this man's existence on any of the major networks?
Me personally, no.
Not at all.
They didn't give him a line or nothing.
Well, no, let me take that back. I saw him in a debate with Dyson. Was it Dyson he did on one of his videos?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so he
had him for lunch.
Right, but I mean it was a national debate back when Obama was president. So if you're saying 579 or the national networks, they didn't give him they didn't give him as the let's go to our journalists over here. He had his own network, and the commentator, when he did debate Dyson in that particular video, he came with very valid points and issues on why President Obama fell short, and you couldn't argue with him, and of course I think it was talking about in that particular video, because it was like over 10 years, 20 years ago. I can't remember how far back it was, but it was a debate involved, and he was saying, well, President Obama came in and he played to the points, the talking points that needed to get him where he needed to go. But did he deal and address with what our issues are? No, he didn't. And that was the point that he came from. And, Dyson was trying to have his cheerleaders and, his pom-poms and like, yeah, Obama did this and Obama did that, but it was two different ends of the conversation that brought out the point. So in response to your question, just one time that I know of.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. Mr. Ford, it wasn't as if he was talking black. He was talking left, radical left. And he was, I don't know if he was branded a socialist. He might have been. But he was talking radical. He was talking about radical left. I mean, as far as dealing with the masses. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether you were black, white, orange, or whatever. If you were poor, you deserved a better reckoning. And then I love the way he framed the corporatization of this country. I love the way corporations run it. And I loved his framework on that, and then especially the media, especially the media. So, if the media got it out for you, they could tear you up. They're going to tear you up. And it's like them big time editors, whatever story that they want to frame, they can do it. And people can't say much. So I mean, listening to this cat made me really skeptical about a whole lot of things. I don't care how much they put it on the TV. You understand? I'm like, well, why are you putting it on the TV like that? I'm always asking that question. And don't tell me you're trying to deal with truth, justice, and the American way. What is it that your owner wants? What is it that the owners want? That's like really my question on a lot of things, So, I really caution people about, what you see and hear in the media. Go a step further. Try to get as many sources of information as you can, so you can become a better informed citizenry. Because we can't take the stuff that's just thrown out and that we're being bombarded with, because we can be bombarded with a bunch of lies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to, and nobody, only, what was it, the black commentator, only the people that, in his circle knew that he was speaking truth to power, revered him. It was like, I found out about his death from one of my former colleagues at Howard, and she put it out there. I said, oh, and this is a Caucasian woman. And she's to the left, and he's further left than what she is, And when she was speaking volumes about him, I said, "Whoa, let me get in here and dig deep." America didn't become corporate. Oh, here we go. It started out that way. America didn't come. It started out that way and kept going. Here's proof: landholders ought to have a share in the government to support these invaluable interests and check the other man. They ought to be a majority, opulent against a majority. James Madison, chief architect, one for president. Well, yeah, Mr. Ford speaks volumes to white supremacy and to the supremacist notions that are in there. But you got to check out Mr. Ford for yourself. Francisco, you got to check him out for yourself. You got to check him out. He is deep. You got to check him out. And if you're not going to check him out, then don't check him out, but you got to check him out and line him up with some of the, see, it's like people that they give us and then people that they don't give us. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and that was like what Carter G. Woodson said, the miseducation of the Negroes. And then Mr. Ford, Glenn, he talked about misleaders. The people that they put in front of us, they are there to mislead, the majority of the people, because when he speaks of volumes on the foundations that are behind some of this stuff, I mean, the funding, you got Republicans trying to put confusion inside the Democratic Party so it can make their agenda, to bring their agendas forward and stuff like that. And these cats is working in cahoots. It's like money trying to keep more money. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Dem-con or a Rep-con, because both of them are still cons.
Yeah.
They still a con. So you're figuring out, well, let me take this con over here. I think this con won't hurt as much. So he spoke truth to power. That's why most of us don't know about him. And he came out hard on President Obama. But he didn't get buried like Tavis. Okay, I'm not touching that one. You can touch that. You can handle that, Dr. Ron. I ain't touching that one because President Obama was a great president in the same way FDR was. Really? I'm not touching that one. Base, you can handle that one.
I don't want it.
Dr. Ron, you can handle
Well, I mean, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and we all know that Francisco is one of the hosts right here at Street News Now, and he feels as though President Obama was a great president in the same way that FDR was. And FDR brought about a different type of movement at the time that movement was needed. And I can't see any type of movement similar to FDR that Obama did. Now, Obama was able to get Obamacare, as we call it, passed, you know, before the entire you know, Congress and representatives changed, and they fought him on everything after that. He wasn't able to accomplish as much, but you know, I just don't see the magnitude that FDR had brought in the same with President Obama. I'm agreeing with Ford. Read the second sentence I wrote above. They both did great things, but are stained by the horrible things they did. So, what horrible things is he referencing?
You know, now I'm gonna be cool. I'm surrendering, you know, because Mr. President Biden is the one that's getting the infrastructure ready for the little people.
Mm-hmm.
He's pushing forward the FDR moment.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Obama took care of the elites. Mr. Obama took care of the elites. President Obama, he was great, but he took care of the elites. More people, more corporations. He bailed out people with the big money. He bailed out more people with the big money and all this kind of stuff. So you say he's FDR, Japanese internment, Obama drone strikes. Now, when did they let the bomb go? Who was the president when they let the bomb go? Was it Truman or was it Franklin? Who was it? Who was it?
I can't remember. You know?
Yeah, when was it? When did they drop the bomb? Was it in 41?
You talking about the bomb on Japan, the end of war?
Yeah. Was it 45? Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Who was the president?
I know somebody out here. The bomb was dropped by FDR. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
Then you're gonna talk about drone strikes as opposed to bombs.
But you know, you look at things like that as acts of war,
right?
Okay, you know, they try to put acts of war in the same category, you know, as acts of God. Like, you know, case in point, if you get an insurance policy on anything, they say in the fine print, we will not cover based on acts of God or acts of war. So they put those two things right side by side. So if it's declared a act of God, then the insurance company say we ain't got to pay. Okay. You know, so you know, hey, acts of war, you know, that's something that, you know, nobody's gonna ever be popular for doing what needs to be done. But they had to do what they had to do.
So now we get the thing we say, we see the one that says Obama got Osama.
Right.
Okay, who told us those stories? Who told us those stories? The corporate media. The corporate media told us those stories, but we don't have any backdrop as to why, what Osama bin Laden was doing or whatever. Did the United States make a deal with this dude at first? And then they got mad at him because he wasn't carrying out the deal? That's just the same. That was like the same thing with Muammar Gaddafi. They said Gaddafi was doing this, that, and other. But Gaddafi was providing interest-free loans to black nationalist organizations. Gaddafi was going to give some money to Malcolm to start his move. And the United States told France, you better not let him come in there. And the next thing you know, he gets assassinated. So the media never tells us about these stories, but somehow or another we get to find out. So what did Osama bin Laden do? Because I don't know. I'm still hung up on weapons of mass destruction that never existed. But that gave the United States the right to do its imperialist moves. And that's the kind of stuff Mr. Ford was talking about. Right. Whether it's right or wrong. And who am I to judge? I'm just a lowly brother on the south side of Chicago.
And I'm gonna add to the list of atrocities that you just talked about, the fact that we're in the middle of a disease that's killing up people each and every day, making people sick and people dying. America death toll over 600,000 people. And we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes with that. I'm just going to lay that right there.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's fair. And going back to what Professor said earlier, always go to more than one source. You can't believe just one source. I mean, you have people who follow, they put the word liberal in front of stuff, they do, the conservative right, the liberal media, the liberal this and liberal that, and conservative media and everything else. You have to have more than multiple avenues of media to try to get all perspectives of what's going on, because you get like one train of thought, you subscribe to one train of thought. If you live in a city, say, with two newspapers, and you get both newspapers with the same story, I bet you have two different slants to it. So again, get as many sources as you can, and then find out what your take on the whole thing is. Don't be lazy. Don't let your mind be lazy, and just go to one source, get multiple sources, and then go from there. And also from the fact of, you mentioned before about the government. Well, look, the government has a habit of creating monsters, becoming Dr. Frankenstein, then will destroy the Frankenstein monster themselves. Let's go back to the 80s, during that timeline in the late 70s, 80s, with Manuel Noriega. They created Noriega.
Right.
And then when Noriega got too big, he got to go.
Right.
He got to go. So,
America's input on the world stage, man, it's like, it's like America is trying to have on white gloves, but they're dirty, all in the palms, fingertips. The top part is clean, right? Mm-hmm. But this other side, it's like, man, it's just black. It's filthy. Mm-hmm. Filthy, because they've been touching and having their hands on, almost any and everything. And then, you expect me to want to believe that. So that's why I appreciate, people like Mr. Glen Ford, that didn't get any line in any major newspaper. It just so happened that Urban One did put some out on there. So we have to have multiple roads to walk on. because any destination has many roads to come. But if you keep going down the road that they tell you, then all you're going to see is the advertisements that they're presenting to you. So you got to go on these other type roads so maybe you can pick up something else from somewhere else. And so my question is now, who's going to replace Mr. Ford? One of the things that, leaders, our leaders, they do, or some of our spokesmen, they never have the backup plan. Who's the disciple? Who's going to be the next disciple? Or who's going to be the next somebody that comes up to keep speaking truth to power? Because we really need that. I mean, if only just to have another viewpoint. I'm not saying it's going to change any and everything, but we need to have a lot of more viewpoints because, as the immortal poet Flavor Flav said, don't believe the hype. And they get us with a lot of hype. Yep. As soon as they want to blow our mind, man, they throw the hype on us. And and we get these situations. We get these situations like where where the media can make you guilty. They can make they can make a person that's like basically maybe misunderstood or whatever, but they can turn him into a monster. Now this Cuomo thing. Now this Cuomo thing, right? So what does this do? What is this do? Now is he a sick, power hungry individual that used his position in the office, to take advantage of the women? What are they gonna call? What is the media calling him now?
He ain't grabbed nobody by the crouch. Come on now. Number 45 was grabbing people by the crouch, man. They still made him president. Come on now.
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but when he showed the video of him kissing the girls, women, and some men, there's a picture of him, kissing Al Gore and everything else. I know he's trying to plead his innocence, but it didn't look too good. Especially when you go by political correctness and what's what, you really, and I said on my show yesterday, you have to damn near be robotic. You have no human emotion whatsoever. Keep your hands to yourself and just, hey, bow. And they'll get to a point where if you bow, something's wrong with that. So it is virtually impossible, especially in his situation, where, yes, people have abused power. Since the beginning of time, we got that. But still, you have the fact that you should know by now that what used to fly back in the day, before political correctness, and not only that, before sexual harassment, you can do stuff like that. You can't do it now. He knew better.
Yeah.
And plus, we don't know the enemies that he's made in his own party.
Now, that's the smoking gun. That's the smoking gun. So, it could have been his own people that's flipping the cars up on him. So, because they know he hard-headed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, all of a sudden, they got to throw the big lie on him. You done hit 100. We got 179 witnesses. And it might be he might have been like that, but they used whatever he was. They found that weakness and they brought it all out to put it on against him. And my question is, who did he piss off? Who done pissed off?
But let me ask this question. How many people are familiar with Italian culture?
There you go. Oh, there you go. Richard Pryor is. He got a good. Hey, come here, boy. Hey, come on, look at what he's saying. Come on, look at he got the gun. Look at Richard. Come here. Go ahead, I got you.
I mean, some cultures, have more comfort with some things than others. Okay. You know, I didn't perceive anything that he was doing as dangerous as the young lady said on the press conference. She came out and said, you got to get him out of office right now because he's dangerous. Well, what's dangerous about a show of affection, from a person who grew up in a culture of that? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can be persuaded to believe anything you want to believe if you so choose to believe it. But, I don't think he was trying to hit on some of them old people, that he was like, hey, how you doing? In Italy, when you go to Italy, they kiss you on both cheeks. Is that perverted?
Man, all I got to say is you right, Dr. Ron, but the question is, who did this dude piss off?
He pissed off a whole lot of people.
Because
they coming after him with the big guns.
Woo, man, they throwing the kitchen sink, they emptying the drawers, they emptying everything out on 179 things, man, he done did. 179. He's still gonna deny it. I swear I ain't touching nobody, man.
Well, not in the way that they're trying to make it seem like.
Yeah.
No, but
it's perception.
You have a perception and how you spin it. It goes back to what some of these officers use when they have controversial shootings. I fear for my life. So if you are a female in the office that work with him, hey, I fear for my life.
Yeah.
He's kissing on me. He's coming after me.
Yeah.
He might grab me somewhere. I fear for my life.
Yeah.
So you use that same article, use that same adage.
Yeah.
Also, case in point, let's go with the coup theory. Of course, Julius Caesar and the whole thing in Greek storyline. Piss off the wrong person. Let's all put I'll put my aluminum tinfoil hat on. Say the Biden people. Remember there was rumblings about him, meaning Cuomo, possibly running for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need him running in 2024. If I live enough to be around in 2024, I got to get you out the way. So who better get you out the way is to help spearhead this whole thing about you kissing on women and everything else, and you are out the way again. He's probably pissed off not just one person, but many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
You want to read out loud because y'all can have it.
All right. I was raised with Italians, went to school with Italians, and married an Italian. It doesn't excuse anything. If any of it is true, this is not Italy. In America, if a woman is uncomfortable with your behavior, that's what counts. Again, I have no idea if what they are saying about Como is true, but it has to be taken seriously at the very least. Yeah. Okay. And so, I'm cool with that. I agree 100%, all that 1,000,000%. But this just didn't start with just Cuomo.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. It's just visible.
Right.
With Cuomo. This has been going on for the longest, even before, I mean, that's, and what about the women? What about the women who acknowledge and then move through that, accept that and move through it? And then what about the brothers who getting beat upside the head because they got a female boss in power and she wants what she wants? What about that? Or where is it? Where is those harsh conclusions or that harshness towards those realities? But of course, I mean, there's never going to be any of those harsh realities because the media is not going to blow it up. You understand? So I agree that if a woman says no, I mean, that means no. You know, I think my mother told me that a long time ago. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, she said, if she jump back, she say run, you know, because that's one of the worst things in the world when a person can say that this person has done this. So I'm gonna give you another for an example. Okay, so there's cases out here where there are some members in the community because they have they got these dual sides, right? And you got to be careful on how you say and present yourself, because some ladies that have a preference towards other ladies, you got to be careful with what you say, because they could call the police and say a hate crime. You got to be extra careful. You know, same thing with the men. You got to be extra careful. So anytime you talk, you got to have witnesses with everything you do, because, you know, people use the law to their advantage. So is there a use of law or whatever to get this? Was this dude so powerful that they had to go at it like that to get him, or do they want this dude just out, period? This was like this was just like, what's his name, Blago. When Blago messed up, man, they went on and put the kitchen sink on Blago.
Yep, they sure did.
They put the sink. Yeah.
Now let me tell you a story. My uncle told me this story many years ago. He grew up in Mississippi during the 40s, 50s. And he used to tell us that the Caucasian ladies always wanted to try and get some black meat. And they would throw themselves at the black meat. And they would tell them, before anything ever happened, you know, if they catch us, I'm going to holler rape. And then that group of people with the white robes would show up at their house and lynch them if they were ever discovered. But if they can sneak and do it and get away with it, then they was home free. But if they were ever exposed, then they had to die. So fast forward to now, you know, it's been a great exposure. Now it's a lynching going on.
Yes.
Same principle.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, you do have people out there who do abuse the system. Like, I worked at a radio station years ago, and, you know, working at a radio station I worked at, everybody dressed casually. So when someone dresses up like in a suit or a dress suit, you know, it's a big deal, because you always see them in, you know, jeans and, you know, casual wear. So when my coworkers came with a very nice dress on with heels, everything else, I said, "Man, you look great." She reported me to HR. I didn't say anything about her body or anything nasty. I just said she looked great. So the guy in HR had reached out to me and said, "Chris, man, look, we're not going to report you." She reports about everybody something every day, to the point where you can't take her seriously. So again, you do have people who abuse the system to the point where the people who are legit, who have something, and I know it's a case-by-case basis, but sometimes you're not careful, you might be lumped in one sum. And it should be, what the person is telling you should be the truth. Again, when you look at a situation like that, somebody, of course, abusing the system, it's like, God forbid something was to really happen, you know, sexually abused wise, or to the point of being accosted, or to the point of, being disgusted, and they go to HR, do they take them seriously or not? And even if they write typing it out, it's like, you know, with a smirk on their face, giving a side eye, okay, yeah, here we go with another one. So it's hard to weed out. It really is. But it's one of those situations where we have to focus on what's in hand here. The main thing what's in hand here with Governor Cuomo is that, should he step down? Everybody's calling for him to step down. There's people lined up for his job as we speak. So again, like you said, Professor, who did he piss off? Like I said before, it has to be a group of them. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he got to go
because if he didn't piss nobody off, you understand, what he was doing would still continue. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
He didn't piss nobody off because that would have been covered up, because that's been going on even before the cell. That's been going on, period.
You know, and he did to his credit, he did a great job with managing, his state during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden, whoever he pissed off, like Professor would say, somebody made that phone call, and say, let's get him. And now they got, everybody all the way from the White House, calling for him to step down. That's true politics, I guess.
Man, they're talking about the civil suits and this, and all this, and all of that, this and all of that, and so
yeah, it's not going to end well. I can say that.
Yeah, and so where's all the comments? Where's all the comments about pedophiles and this, that, or where all the dirty word comments about this brother, being affectionate to the people, and all this old kind of stuff.
I don't think nobody called him a pedophile yet.
Yeah, well,
yet.
Yeah, or creep or whatever. I wonder, is he gonna get called that? Or is he gonna get? Or let's just say that was a brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
Let's just say that was a brother.
Oh, come on now.
Well, Kwame went to jail, man.
Yeah.
Let's just say that was a brother. Yeah.
From Detroit, yeah.
Hey, they pulled out his texts and everything. You understand that
They sure did. They put that brother, locked him up.
Man, 6 years. He a preacher now. I heard his first sermon a couple of weeks ago, down in Alabama.
And look, all he had was a side chick and his secretary, wasn't it?
Man, so
consenting.
Man,
consenting adults.
So here you go. Here you go. Then you go to talk about. Then you talk about the injustice or the unfairness. You understand? Brother can't slide through and be powerful and do nothing like that. Brother got to do time. Reminds me of some of the work of the late great poet Gil Scott Heron when he did the famous H2O Watergate blues. Brother man steal a hubcap, brother man gonna do serious time. The man who tried to steal America, he gets nothing. As a matter of fact, they want to give him a pardon. You understand? Listen. If you listen to the H2O Watergate blues, and you can Gil Scott Heron. I think it's I can't think of it. Not Winter in America, but it's like the album covers with the gorilla, and he's sitting in there. But that's not the one with the revolution. Will not be televised. But the H2O Watergate blues. You got to listen to that, and then you can hear about the way that minorities are punished, and how the European brothers get a chance to go to retire and go to San Clemente. They get to do things differently. So all Pomo got to do is retire.
And it'll go away.
Yeah. All you got to do is get out the way, So
yeah.
And other brothers get sent. If that was a brother, if that was a brother, So, well, that's how I go, But he made a terrible mistake. The call came in on him. So, it's one thing I like about the call. Now, the calling, it ain't gonna discriminate, because when the call comes down on you, it's a matter of, are you cutting off the money? Are you gonna make the money look bad? Or what you doing? Have you gotten too selfish after what we've done for you? We've done for you, and then you're not gonna throw back in the pot. Oh, dude, you can't walk with us like that. You got to pay your tithes. You got to pay yours every week. You got to honor that. So, got too big for his britches, man. And so he had to get chopped. He gonna get chopped down.
Yeah.
And listen, you can go all the way back to the biblical times. The strongest man in the world. They sent that woman on him.
Yep.
Find out the secret.
Mm-hmm.
Cut the hair down. And my boy gonna be Samson. He gonna try to pull the pillars, all on his head. Because he gonna take everybody down with it. But as soon as they gonna come at you, and we've seen this, whether you black, white, yellow, whatever, they're gonna put the female on you. They're gonna put that girl on you.
Yep.
They're gonna put that girl on you when they
never fails.
Cause as my main man, as our partner in crime, my man Francisco, he'll get on top of Mount Everest and he'll say, when she says it, we got to honor it. Then the question becomes, did somebody make her say it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then I got tripped out, right? I got tripped out. Because I saw, now Dr. Ron, I saw what is it? Black Venus. Now, have you ever heard of that film, Black Venus?
I can't remember if I did or not. Yeah.
Okay, but it was about a South African woman. Bass, have you ever heard of Black Venus?
No, I have not. No.
No, see, I didn't hear about it, and so I'm perusing and I'm checking it out. And so I ran into some. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna get ready to head out to the crib, man. But and I got really pissed off, man. I was really angry. It's the story of a black South African woman, Sarah Bartman.
I know about Sarah Bartman.
You know about that. Okay, that was Black Venus.
Yeah.
The woman, the South African young girl.
They put in side shows. And
man.
Even after she was dead, they put in a museum.
Man, for 150 years, man.
Yeah.
They plastered this woman, man. Her body skeleton. Now, I knew they did that in England, but then France, to do that, man, they measured this woman, this young scientist measured this woman. They tried to make this woman be a monkey.
Yeah. They abused this woman while she was alive. They put her in side shows. They drug her all across the country. Europeans came in and had sex. They put her in whorehouses. That you talk about the abuse of this woman. And then after she was dead, they dissected her. And man, they, oh my God, science, explored her.
Pickled her brain, pickled her brain and pickled her vagina.
Yes, because they said she was a freak of nature. Yep.
Man, and that hit me.
Now y'all want to get mad about something, go look that up. They made a movie about it. Yeah, they made it. I think it was like 2 or 3 parts to that movie. She didn't get
sent back to South Africa till 2002. She died in 1815. 26 years old. You understand? Because the woman had a huge rear end.
Right. and then she died of disease. I want to say she died of syphilis or something like that.
Well, that's what they speculate, but it could have been
Yeah.
pneumonia. It could have been her own
Right.
alcoholism,
Right.
because the woman never smiled. So, man, I dug into going. I done looked at 2 documentaries. I even rented the movie Black
Yeah.
Venus. Oh man, I got hot.
Yeah.
So
It would make you mad.
yeah,
It would make
I
you
got
mad.
hot.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
hot. Man, I
Yeah.
watched it even with the French. I mean, even with it was French, but even with the subtitles, I was reading. I was looking and reading. I didn't even care. But the one thing that was cool, that was really cool, is, well, it wasn't cool, and let me take that back. But what really hit me is that when the scientists were trying to examine her while she was alive, she had a lion's cloth over her, and they tried to make her take it off, and she didn't allow them to do that to her.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't allow that, but eventually, after the freak show part of her died out,
Mm-hmm.
she was influenced into moving into prostitution, and I was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was so mad. But
Yeah.
it does give me now a different respect, for women, and I kind of like question now, the freak show nature of what they're still trying to do with our females today.
Yep.
You got the women out here with these injections and things like that. They trying to really do these cosmetic alterations to their behinds and things like that. And if they knew, if they knew the story of this woman.
Right. Yeah. Now that was in the early 1900s, wasn't it?
No, it was 18. She was born in 1700.
So it was for early 1800s.
Yeah, and she died in 1815.
Okay.
They kept her body in France till 1974.
Gotcha.
Her skeleton was on display, along with her vagina,
right,
and her brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading about that, and I watched the movie. Man, it is heart-wrenching. I encourage you, if you have never heard of Sarah Bartman, go do some homework. Check it out. It's going really, really, really hurt you to your heart.
Yeah. So
I remember reading excerpts about that now that you told the whole story, which is beyond tragic. But we always find these stories, first of all, dealing with racism, period, is beyond tragic.
There you go,
and
baby.
Then you go with, for example, we find out about when they were promoting the Aunt Jemima pancake mix. And centuries ago in Chicago World's Fair, they had the so-called mammy preparing pancakes from the pancake mix to the audience, and she was shackled to the table while she was doing this. So again, in fact, she's from Chicago. They just, over the past few years, got her headstone for her grave, because nobody knew where she was at one point. When they went and found her, she had no gravestone whatsoever. So all these tragic and racism go together, obviously. So when you hear the story, it is beyond gut-wrenching, because that could have been your mother. In the standpoint of the human condition, we are human beings first before anything else. The fact that you would do this to another human being, I go back to pure evil.
Man, and
I really believe in that.
And then they tried to cover it in the name of science, with their sole intention of making us be monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna say this woman's behind was linking her to a baboon
Mm-hmm.
or a mandrill.
Right. That's what they say.
In some of the tribes in South Africa, the native tribe, the indigenous tribes, the women just have big butts.
Mm-hmm. To this day.
Yeah.
They just have big butts.
To this day.
And they freaked out over that. The dude took her on Piccadilly in England, was getting 2 shillings a show.
Yep.
Man, that hit me. This last question from Francisco, right? The question of whether someone had her say it is not the first question that comes to my mind. To me, the first question is it true? If not, then other questions can be asked. Now, that's in regards to a woman crying wolf or saying that she's been raped. So, fire!
Oh man.
You know,
well, as always,
is it a fire? No, but people gonna get up and run.
Exactly.
Woo! So that's unlawful. And so for a person to say that they've been mistreated, and then there are some people that will just believe it because it was said. Emmett Till. Emmett Till.
Yep.
Didn't get a chance to find out whether it was true or not that he whistled to a woman. Emmett Till stuttered.
Yeah.
But the judge, the jury, and the execution was performed.
Yep. And it happened all through time.
Yeah.
Rosewood.
Again, another good one.
Yeah.
Rosewood. Gap Band. Greenville, Archer, and Pine.
Yep. All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate when the Europeans say you did it, you did it. Then the boys in the white hood start showing up doing what they do. And
so what's the sense in trying to find out the truth when a lie is always gonna be believed?
Yep. And hundreds of people died in pursuit of this lie.
That's right.
And to help re-educating our people, Whoopi Goldberg is going to star in an upcoming pick about Emmett Till. She's going to play Emmett Till's grandmother. And
the mother or the grandmother?
Go play the grandmother, yes. And
the grandmother, not maybe or not.
No, he playing the grandmother, yeah.
Okay.
But another actor will play Mamie.
Oh, okay.
Right. So again, it's re-educating our people when it comes to that. And what pisses me off, the heifer on her deathbed said, "I lied."
She did.
He didn't whistle at me.
Yep. Sure did.
I mean,
on her
I understand about trying to get to heaven.
100 and something years old.
Place in hell for that ass.
100 and something years old. Yep.
Yeah. But the execution was carried out, and the truth was never found.
Yep.
Amazing.
Which makes you question everything that comes out.
Everything that comes out. And so it don't matter. For me, it don't matter what the first question should be. It should be some questions.
Yeah. There you go. And of course, the other Emmett Tills we're not familiar with over time. their injustices. We just heard about Emmett Till and the others over time. What about the ones we're not familiar with?
That's right.
What about those men and women? What about those boys and girls?
That's right. That's right.
Atrocities, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We should do a special show, and I'm gonna knock this down and pass it on to you guys. A show about history points when it comes to our people or people in general, and then that way we can have like a rotating discussion, of course, with the people in the comment section about historical points, and then go over that as well. Because again, you have a platform like this, you might as well use it. So we might as well continue to educate and enlighten and have differences of opinion go back and forth. But yeah, all the educational standpoints, we should do some historical educational stuff. Everybody involved and throw it out there, and then see what kind of conversation we get.
Say, man, I came up with some topics today, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. And look, and sent them in on the email.
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you did.
Look, that whole thing on Glen Ford was a whole week early.
It was.
I do it when it hit me, man.
Look, I went and looked at it. I didn't know you was gonna bring it up. I just thought it was somebody else that you had that you were close to, that you had lost, man.
No.
You know. Man, that was a deep dude. I was like, man, I saved that video. I'm gonna go back and look at some more of his.
It's a couple of them. He did a couple of more on point. Connect. I'll look at that and send that, because he was really laying it out, because it was another brother. It was a Caucasian brother that was a left. And they were really speaking truth to power on how, the maze that the corporations have created to blow our minds and keep themselves sheltered. And then they're using us to keep them up there.
Yeah, but see, the whole point behind that is understanding that what we see on face value is never really
what it is,
the truth. Okay, or it could be a truth, but it's not the truth.
Yeah.
And we have to be conscious enough to know, okay, we heard what this point is. Now, what are the other points and the other positions that go behind it? Because if we don't look deeper than the surface, then all we're going to get is the surface. We got to go deeper than the surface, because that's like I said, I hate to keep bringing it up, but I'm going to bring it up again. I probably in my lifetime will never hear the full story behind this pandemic, but my kids and my grandkids will probably hear what was really going on with this pandemic.
Man, it's a conspiracy theory a week, right? First they said it was the monkeys. Then now they say it was man-made. It was designed. And then when the man-made design came out, I said, at first I was kind of rejecting that, but then I said, yeah. And then I asked myself, who paid for all these vaccines? So they created a big event to get paid. They got paid. That's just like wars, man. When these wars go on, the only people that make it and get rich is the doggone international bankers, because they funding both sides.
Right. And think about this. With the science that we have today, you don't think they got a solution to this problem?
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm just going to let that hang right there. Okay. Just right there. Yeah. With the science that we got today, you don't think that they ain't got a solution to this?
Somebody wanted some money.
But just like they said about Ebola, they said that was far more deadlier than this COVID outbreak. but yet they squashed that right away.
Yeah, and then until they found out, they came around the second time. They said, "Oh, we can really get some paper, bring in some paper with this next thing."
Yep.
And they went on and set it up.
What they always say, follow the money.
Yeah,
all the time.
They went on and set it up. I say, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'll be looking down, from on high, talking about, I knew it was something behind the scenes behind this crap.
The best thing about this episode is that you all sound like the three barbers from Coming to America.
Chocolate Yoda in the house, y'all.
I mean, he ain't lying. He ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
You getting good, American Girl's father. You in good with her. Ain't that right?
He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Oh, man.
Yo Lewis was a bad motor scooter. Rocky Marciano.
Wait a minute.
Oh, man.
That's he go Francisco.
Look.
He got Joe Lewis.
Look. Then they asked him, he said, "You been paying child support?" He said, "You been paying child support?"
Oh, hell. Yeah, y'all, you got to be careful when you put stuff in the chat, because I see that and then I'll interpret it. See, cause like I try to tell people all the time, I'm really not smart as you guys are. I'm just the low man. I'm the low man on the totem pole. You understand? And I see things a little differently. I can't use all these big words like austerity and all that old kind of stuff. I don't know nothing about that, man. I'm one of the brothers in the barber shop. But it's one thing I found out about the barber shop, though. There's some great conversations that have been released in the barber shop.
Education.
There's been some great bonding done in the barber shop. See, a lot of times, we're blinded by European light, or we're being blinded by European lightness when the actuality is dance came from us.
Right.
Ours was the first civilization. They picked up on it. So but I'm cool. I'm cool.
Now, look, another great line from the movie. We had running water and indoor plumbing while y'all was still living in caves in London. Y'all remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah. I was Omar Sharif in that movie. I forgot the name of the movie, but I remember that line. Yep. He was talking about the English trying to be in Saudi Arabia, telling them how to do what they do in Saudi Arabia. And he's like, look, we had indoor plumbing and running water long before y'all came out of them caves. So what are you talking about?
Man.
Hold on. I was just getting ready to end the show, but look whose timing is right now. The fearless leader. What's up, Lee?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Man.
What's up, bro?
You're looking good, man.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
In the very near future, Apple is coming out with a new software that will operate on their phones that will detect child pornography on your phone, which I think is a good idea. But is that where your privacy is going to end? What about other things on your phone that may not be malicious or illegal, but those are your private files, whether they're videos or pictures? Maybe you don't want certain pictures of your family members exposed to the public. or exposed to Apple. How you guys feel about that?
Well, I already think our privacy already been compromised. We just don't, quote unquote, know it. I think it's already been compromised. That's just me.
Yeah,
I think
that's
you're right.
true.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they got contract tracing on your phone right now. They can tell you if you were in an area where the pandemic or the corona has been detected. You know, they're doing that now. So
Well,
they
that's
already
true. And
got it.
I have the app on my phone, and it's supposed to be able to detect people who have the infection. But I've had it on my phone for about a year now, and I'm yet to get alarmed. So I don't think that bullshit works.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now after what you just said about Apple, I'm gonna keep an Android. That's what I say.
On an Apple right now, but I still have my Android over here. I'm not gonna let it go.
Man,
Now-
I ain't letting y'all get me in that Apple Android thing, man. I'm just keeping my phone, man.
Well, what kind of do you have?
I got an Apple phone. That's all I ever had was Apple products, man. I ain't getting into that stuff, man, with y'all, man. You know, I can't listen. I let that stuff go when it went from Windows to Apple, man. All right.
Yeah,
and
well,
I love the Windows. I can navigate on that machine. Then when I have to go do something on this doggone Windows machine, I gotta pull out a manual. I gotta start reading and all this kind of stuff. With Apple, all I gotta do is look for a symbol and it'll get fixed.
Well, that's fine, but you know what? I still find that the iPhone, for me, is harder to navigate than my Android. Simple things, you know, just going back from one website to another is a chore for me on the iPhone.
It wouldn't have been a chore if you had started with the Apple. But
well, that's true. That's true, and I totally agree with that. We're all creatures of habit.
Yeah, you got to deconstruct, and that's
right,
and that's not easy.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean that's not easy, and I agree. But listen, look, I'm gonna tell y'all. Want this? I'm gonna tell you this one more time. Y'all gonna keep talking. Well, we ain't got to worry about it too much. But when President Trump, whatever that man's name, whatever he was the last president, and I got rid of all of my Samsung stuff, man, because that's made by the Koreans. They push that button, man, and then next thing you know, your whole thing, everything in your pocket is burning up on that Android phone, man. It'll put you on fire, man.
It sure did, boy. It sure did, man. Look, they wouldn't even allow them things on airplanes. They said, look, if you got a Samsung, you can't get on this airplane.
Man, you know, you mess around and because that whatever that was that we had before Mr. Biden, President Biden, whatever we had, and he was messing around with that dude over there in Korea, and he crazy too. And they said, well, I'll show you. And every Samsung phone, all they had to do was click a button and they'd all go on fire.
And you know what? You know, I can't argue with that because he was the only president that we had that tested the emergency broadcast system on the phone. You remember he did a test?
Yeah.
He sent a test. He said, this is the president, you know, and he's the only one. Now, that's always been available, but he did a test.
Which is now the emergency alert system now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, man, y'all can talk about that. Y'all can keep talking about that Apple Samsung thing all you want. Y'all can talk about that. I ain't dealing with that.
Oh, man.
And y'all be talking about Android. It's Samsung. Man, I got rid of all the Samsung TVs in my house. Because that little red dot, I was worse than James Brown. You know, James Brown used to turn it off. He'd make people unplug all the TVs because they could see you.
Look, Mark, don't get too happy with the LG because LG stopped making cell phones as of this year. So we're in trouble. I got LG. We're in trouble. Yep. Because I don't know who I'm going to go to next, you know. And it ain't and what they say, glow in the dark, Professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I ain't messing around. I done had my Apple, even though it's made over there too. I ain't tripping. But I am not gonna mess with that Android and made by Samsung.
I know that's right.
But them Koreans over there, and then we make Koreans mad. We're gonna make the Koreans mad. That's why the United States won't mess with them. I'm telling you. That's why they won't go over there and mess with them people. Because they mess around and hit one button and all our stuff will be our homes will be on fire. Everybody their pockets will be burning up because they'll turn them phones into weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah. So we lost the professor, huh? He just started some stuff and ran off.
Yeah, Lee.
We lost. Yeah, Professor Lee. Yeah. He came in with that foolishness.
I ain't going out, man. I ain't got look from now. When people start talking about that stuff, I get up let me get up out of here. I'm gonna excuse myself from the room. I'm not arguing with no Samsung and no Apple phone no more. I got rid of all my Samsung products.
Well, look, we can't let Chocolate Yoda's son not get called out. Christopher, he the one threw that in the barbershop stuff at us, and then he ran off.
and then I got to say this. Then I'm gonna go. But look here, man. Check this out, though. Cubs cleaned house, right? All their big guns, Rizzo, Baez, Chris Bryant, all them boys on their new team home with the first day.
Yep, sure did.
That's what happens.
Man.
All the time.
Yep.
But they couldn't pay them boys. For a team that makes zillions for losing, they didn't want to pay them boys.
Come on now.
Who getting
they could have paid them. Yeah.
Who getting that money, man? Who getting that money, base?
Yep.
Follow the money.
Man, who getting that money? So they had to get rid of them boys. Man, and Rizzo, they should have let him stay because the people love that boy.
Fan favorite.
Man, they love that boy. But they sent him to the Yankees, man.
Yep, and he knocked out the park. They all, like you said, they got real. Hey, we'll show y'all. They all got. They look gone. Yeah.
Man, listen, man, base. We did a good job. I came up with some topics, man.
I know, right?
Topics.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, man.
Great job to also our brother in broadcasting, Francisco Acosta. A great job tonight. Three amigos. Good night, sir. And thank you for, of course, chiming in with your point of views as well. Thank you. And get better, sir. Absolutely.
Get better.
All right. Parting thoughts before we get out of here. Let's go with Dr. Ron first.
Look, you all, guns do not kill people. People kill people. Let that marinate. Just let that marinate. 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. Let's spread that around and tell people don't use them 5 pounds. Let's just try and keep people alive as much as we can.
There we go. Professor Reggie Miles, floor is yours.
Wow. I guess, and I wasn't in on seeing what Dr. Ron had said, but I guess I want to echo that. And then I want to go back in time to the young brothers. It used to be a time based, and you might know about this. Dr. Ron, you might know about this, where there was a phrase that we said, let's go head up. Let's go head up. Mm-hmm. Or let's throw some hands.
Yep.
I mean, and so our differences, we're going to have to look at them, differently, to whereas death is not the answer. Because when you, as you, Dr. Ron says, when you apply that 5 pounds, man, we need to talk to some people that, regret making that decision like that, because I've heard when people do things like that, they have some horrific things that happen to them in their lives afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And violence is not always the answer. I don't understand how an intelligent people can reduce themselves to the to the jungle. You understand, to the laws of the jungle, and not use this marvelous brain and this mind that we have to settle the differences. So I echo Dr. Ron's thing, and I say, keep love alive, keep loving, keep, do something better. Talk to your children. Listen. Don't keep trying to talk to your children. Listen to them first. Listen to them first. Let them know that you're listening, and then you try to share some wisdom. With that, I yield the rest of my time to Base.
Thank you so much, Professor. When it comes to life, we don't have all the answers. It is impossible. All we know is the life that we are on the road because of ourselves and the lives that we hear about from other people, whether it's our family members, our mothers and fathers, and people who have a longer stretch of life than ours. I quote one of my favorite rappers of all time, the philosopher KRS-One. 3 words come to mind. You must learn. Just that simple. It can be done. And there you have it. And as the professor masks up, he's about to leave the Chicago State University to go home. Dr. Ron is home, and so am I. We're about to get out of here. As always, thank everybody in the comment section for doing what you do best. For Dr. Ron Ford, for Professor Reggie Miles, for the Yoda Chocolate Yoda, Francisco Acosta, and also for the fearless leader, made a special guest appearance just now, Lee Michaels. I am Chris Bass. We do this every Thursday, Street News Now, 5 Guys and You, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Continue to do something not only beautiful, but like the professor said, let's have some more love in our lives. Take care and be peaceful.